Hello, everyone, and welcome to our Success in Construction webinar series. This series is tailored for finance directors and project managers who are currently using NetSuite. Today, we're going to focus on data-driven reporting excellence, where we're going to be exploring leveraging data for better project decisions. Before we dive in, I'd like to take a minute to introduce who ProScope are. So we're a native NetSuite partner specializing in enhancing project management functionality for NetSuite users. And the Success in Construction series aims to provide valuable knowledge to our audience. In previous webinars, we covered topics such as budgeting, supply chain optimization, and workforce management. So a quick introduction to myself. My name is Sandra. I'm a solutions consultant here at ProScope, and I specialize in helping construction companies like yourself optimize their project management process. So for today's agenda, we're going to start with problems with traditional reporting. So we're going to cover what are the most common problems that face organizations who are still using traditional reporting. We'll then move on to how ProScope enables project reporting. So we'll have a look at how ProScope can help you report in a more efficient way. We'll then have a look at a quick demo that we've put together, and then we'll have some time for discussions and common questions at the end, and then we'll wrap up this webinar. So starting off with problems with traditional reporting. If you are relying on loads of smart sheets and you're updating all this data manually, you won't have that one version of the truth. So if you're sending out copies to your colleagues or you're sharing different copies and you're not sure which copies have been updated with the latest data, it can be really hard and really confusing to know which one is the one version of the truth. It can also be really time consuming if you're updating all these sheets manually. So think of all that time that you're spending updating all these sheets manually one by one, and it really won't have that real time live data available for you to use in your meetings to send with one click of a button. It can be really time consuming. So saving that time and using it for other areas of the business can really help you maintain that efficiency during your project management process. In addition to that, having that real-time dashboard as soon as you log in, you've got all of your reports laid out for you in real time, can give you that peace of mind of not worrying about uploading these reports to your dashboard every day, updating these reports manually. It can save you all that time going through that full manual process. Now let's move on to how ProScope enables project reporting. So what really makes ProScope really special when it comes to reporting and improving your project management process? Now, if you have previously seen the ProScope Project Procurement webinar series, you'll have seen that it really gives you that enhanced project procurement functionality. So it gives you that visibility and clarity of your entire procurement process from start to end. So everything that's happening in the middle, you're receiving goods, you're returning goods, you're purchasing goods, it all updates automatically and feeds into all of your reporting. And the really good thing about this is because ProScope sits on NetSuite, so everything is connected. You don't have to worry about moving any data manually. You don't have to worry about making any manual updates because it all happens in the background automatically. Everything you're doing throughout your procurement process automatically feeds into all of your reporting and updates everything in real time, which takes us to the second point, real-time data visibility. So it's giving you that real-time data visibility that you'll never get with traditional reporting. You'll never get when you're updating manually and spending hours updating your reports manually. Having a system that automatically updates that for you in the background, and you have that peace of mind. You're just going through your procurement process and you're sure that in the background all of your reports are being updated in real time. So whenever you want to check how you're doing with your procurement process, you want to check how you're doing financially with any of your projects, you've got that peace of mind where one click of a button, you've got all of your reports updated in real time. You'll also have configurable workflows. So ProScope does leverage the native NetSuite configurable workflows. So you'll be able to enable and insert any workflows that are needed for your organization as well. So we've spoke a lot about reporting and how traditional reporting is not really going to help you work in a more efficient way. And we've spoken about how ProScope can help you overcome these problems. Now, I think it's time to have a look at a quick demo that we've put together just to help you understand how that looks on the system and help you visualize what we've been talking about. Okay, so I'm now logged in as a project manager on ProScope/NetSuite, which is a native NetSuite application that takes on the project lifecycle from start to finish. And since we're still on NetSuite and it's not a separate application, you'll be getting all the benefits of NetSuite dashboard capabilities, including the ability to personalize your dashboards and move around all these portlets and configure them the way that you want. Now, throughout this webinar series, myself and Katie have walked you through some key stages of the project management lifecycle. However, today my primary focus is to show you how you can leverage NetSuite's reporting capabilities so that you can analyze, track, and review all that information more efficiently. But before we dive into that, I just want to give you a quick refresher as to how I've laid out my dashboard as a project manager. So I've started off by having some shortcuts on the side for areas that I navigate to on a more frequent basis. And I've decided to have a project launchpad, which is giving me a list of all the projects that I'm currently PM on, as well as some shortcuts next to each one of these projects, which will direct me to key areas of that project lifecycle. I've also got some interactive reminders on the side, which are being updated automatically in real time and can help me navigate to these areas in a more efficient basis. As well as having some shortcuts and reminders on my dashboard, I've chosen to have one of the reports that I'm going to be showing you today on my dashboard as well. This is going to give me a lot of visibility on how I'm doing financially with all my projects directly as soon as I log in on my dashboard. Now, when it comes to having strong, meaningful reports in place, you want to make sure that, as well as having that wider scale reports across all of your projects, that you're also reporting at a project level to obtain that granular level of detail. And really, that's when having ProScope enabled on your NetSuite account can really help you obtain that granular level of detail that we're looking for. So I've now gone into a project record as an example, and just as a refresher, in here you'll be able to see things like your primary information, what your project roles are, what your project dates are, and your project classification information as well. So moving on to the project overview, this will really give you real-time visibility of how your project is doing overall. Now, just something to keep in mind is that that percentage of cost completion will automatically update as your project is progressing over time. So you don't have to worry about going in here and making any manual adjustments or manual changes to update all that information. It automatically updates based on your project progressing over time. You'll also have this main navigation bar on each one of your project records, which will act as a centralized area where you can manage every aspect of your project management process for this specific project record. You'll have seen on previous webinars that we've used this navigation bar to navigate through different areas of this project management process, but for today we're going to be really focused on the project financial side of things as well as the activity tasks for this specific project record. So starting off with my project financials tab, this is really giving me a breakdown of what my as sold values are against my variation values as well as my as sold plus my variation. So it's really giving me that real life data of my as sold values and my variations values as well as my as sold plus variation, giving me that clarity and granular information of what my margin is for each one of them, as well as my revenue, labor, and purchases. So in addition to that, you'll also have your planned values for your revenue, your labor, your purchases, expenses, as well as what your actual values are for your labor, purchases, and expenses as well. So having a look at this project record really is giving you that clarity and visibility of how you're doing with your project financially. As you're going through the project, you're progressing, you can always come back here to that project record dashboard and just keep an eye on how you're doing with your project financially from a financial perspective. Now, moving on to the ProScope specific activity tasks, which are custom records that will be leveraged for the majority of the accounting transactions on this project. As you may have seen on previous webinars, these were used to put together the budget for this project. Now, what's really interesting about this is that you can leverage the number of different views using this drop-down menu to obtain a number of meaningful reports using the information that's already existing on the system. So you can see you've got a number of different reports and views to choose from. And the way this works is that the system takes all the values that already exist in these activity tasks and converts them into a number of meaningful reports that you can access from one click of a button. So it really help you understand how you're doing with your budgeting, manage your budgets, and manage your decision-making process more efficiently. So I'm going to go into a couple of examples just to show you how that actually works and how it looks like on the system as well. Now going into the EAC breakdown by activity view, this is really going to give me an EAC report at an activity level. So it's giving me that EAC report, but at a more granular level of detail based on each individual activity that I've added onto this project during my estimating and budgeting phase at the start. So looking at this, I've got a list of all the activities that have been added. I can see what my estimated revenue for each one of these individual activities is, as well as my estimated cost, my planned revenue, and my planned cost. So it's really going to help me with my decision making in the future as I'm progressing through this project, as I'm trying to understand how I'm doing financially with this project from a budget perspective and for future wise decisions. This will really help me with one click of a button using all the information that's already existing on the system, no manual work whatsoever. Now you'll also have your activity task WIP reporting at an activity level. Now this is really going to help you maintain an accurate revenue recognition process as well as accurate billing and identify any financial issues that come up for any of these activity tasks throughout your project management process. So really looking at this is giving you that granular level of detail for what your initial budget is for each one of these activity tasks, as well as what your planned cost is and your committed costs as well. So we've looked at how we can obtain a number of strong and meaningful reports at an activity level, and we now want to leverage these reports on a wider scale across a number of different projects all at the same time. So looking at this first report is the EAC report across all my different projects that I'm currently working on. This is really going to help me identify early any financial issues that might come across each one of these projects, as well as giving me accurate forecasting and improve my budget management process as I'm going through managing a number of different projects all at the same time. This report really is going to give you clarity around what your estimated cost on your budget for each one of these projects is against what your planned costs are for each one of these projects, as well as your committed costs and your cost to date as well. You'll also have your ProScope over and underbilled report, which will really give you a clear breakdown of all your project finances for each one of your projects that you're currently working on. It will also improve your risk management process and give you really effective revenue recognition. You'll also have your CVR and P&L summary report across all of your projects that you're currently working on, which will really help you minimize any overspend and control your ongoing costs as well. So this will really give you a breakdown of what your estimated revenue for each one of your projects is against what your planned sales are and what your estimated costs are, as well as your total planned costs and your committed costs purchase orders. So in addition to the number of reports that we've had a look at ProScope, in addition to the number of reports that we've had a look at, ProScope also leverages the native NetSuite Analytics workbook to give you an activity forecast breakdown. So the way this has been set up is to give you each one of your projects as well as each one of the activities associated with each one of your projects, as well as what your forecast sales, your forecast costs, and your profit slash loss for each one of these activities. Now, if you wanted to make any changes to this layout that's been put together, you can easily just remove or add any of these columns directly to this layout section on the side by dragging and dropping each one of the columns that you want to add to your layout, and it will automatically update that layout for you to maximize the benefits that you're getting out of this report. Now, as we've mentioned at the start, you can always choose to add any of these reports to your dashboard so that as soon as you're logging in, you've got that visibility of how you're doing with all your projects from a financial perspective, as well as managing your budgets or managing any risks associated with any finances as soon as you log into your account. And just one more thing to be aware of is that you're not limited to the few reports that we've walked through today. As long as all the information is on the system, as long as the system holds all that data and all the values and information you're looking for, you can create any report that you want that is key for your organization, or if there's any specific report that you're after that we haven't shown today, can be put together for you as long as the information is on the system. So that's really everything I wanted to cover today. I hope you found this demo useful, and I'm just going to go back to my slides now. Okay, so we're going to start looking at a couple of frequently asked questions that usually come up during my demos, and we'll have some time at the end if you have any questions of your own or if you want to have a quick discussion with us. So first one is, can ProScope use any data within NetSuite? Does my data have to leave NetSuite at all? So ProScope does sit entirely on NetSuite. It's not a separate application, so you don't have to worry about any data needing to leave NetSuite or any manual movements. Can I share reports with other members of the team? So what's really good about ProScope slash NetSuite is that you can email these reports directly from the report page to all of your team members if you wanted to, and you can also export them in different forms. How can ProScope help my company to be more profitable in its approach to projects? So as you may have seen throughout the demo, ProScope does offer tools within NetSuite that streamline project management processes, helping you to reduce any manual errors and improve efficiency, which will lead to cost saving and staying within budget. You'll also get robust reporting and analytics capabilities, enabling your company to closely monitor project costs and identify areas where costs can be reduced, all participating into making your company more profitable in its approach to projects. So as this webinar comes to an end, I just wanted to thank you all for joining us today for our Success in Construction webinar on data-driven reporting excellence. I hope you found today's session insightful and you've gained valuable strategies for leveraging data to enhance your project decision making. Before we end this session, I just wanted to remind you all that you will all get a copy of this webinar, and that if you have any further questions or you would like to explore how ProScope can assist you in optimizing your project management within NetSuite, please don't hesitate to reach out to us. You can find our contact information on our website. And once again, thank you for participation. We value your time and engagement, wishing you continued success in construction projects.